Elon Musk just tweeted out, he didn't tweet it, I guess he Z'd it out, he X'd it out, a video of a woman stuffing a 2020 outdoor mail-in ballot drop-off box. So you can see here.
Looking at here as we pull this up.
Same basic thing.
It looks like the same drop box.
Everybody, look at all those people doing the right thing.
So they're waiting to vote early,
to vote in line.
Right?
Cuts the line.
So this is a maroon dress woman, or is this somebody else?
Yeah,
no, that's...
Is that your mule?
That's our
that's
mule.
her.
Look at that.
So this is a mule.
In front of everyone.
Okay.
Just
Look at everybody
cuts.
sitting there watching like, what?
So this
What's
is
happening?
right now as she opens it up. Can't figure out how to open up.
You can
they
hear
won't
his
fit.
Charlie
Right.
Kirk's
Felony
voice.
At what point?
After the
Right
first
there.
Now it's a felony. So this is a felon. 3 felons at one drop box, everybody. I want you to think about that. One after the other. In the broad daylight. I mean, now you could also get driver's, license plate info and stuff, right?
one. Yes.
So she, in broad daylight, while everyone else was watching, just violated Georgia law.
Right.
Yeah. And so Elon tweets this out and just says, which is good news. I have from the beginning felt that the 2020 election was a little bit dodgy. The moment I saw those numbers turn, coincident with the pipes bursting in Georgia and the election overseers being curiously shut out of some of the precincts, and the whole process of counting being shut down for a few hours in the middle of the night, and then going on for days and weeks, I thought, this election doesn't seem totally on the up and up. Really, from the moment that the libs changed the voting rules, in some cases to violate the law and state constitutions, like in the case of Pennsylvania, and to enable widespread mail-in ballots and the ballot drop-off boxes, I thought, this isn't good. This is rife and open for fraud. As Barack Obama said 10 years ago, Barack Obama, before this scheme became fashionable for Democrats and they thought they could really win it, Obama himself and his team came out and said, oh no, unsecured widespread mail-in ballots, that's really dangerous. That opens up the possibility of voter fraud. Then they realized they were very good at it, so they've encouraged it. But this is big news. Not the fact that these people seem to be cheating, but the fact that Elon Musk is promoting it. Because, don't forget, the way, if the 2020 election were rigged to the point that it were stolen, that you got, that had it not been so rigged, Donald Trump would have won. Some people are saying, well, it was rigged, but Biden would have won anyway. Okay. If it were rigged to the point that it changed the outcome of the election, then the chief villains in that story really are not the little election workers or the people on the ground harvesting the ballots and signing them themselves and stuffing it into the drop boxes. The big villains were the oligarchs in big tech, because it was big tech that censored damaging information about Joe Biden. That alone could have thrown the election to Biden, censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story. And it was big tech that funded this whole rigging. Don't forget, it was Mark Zuckerberg and big tech who funded the schemes and the organizations that were responsible for the widespread mail-in ballots and the drop boxes. In one case, putting the drop boxes illegally far away from the county clerk's offices. So big tech was complicit. And then the moment you raised any questions about the election, big tech shut you down, canceled your account, demonetized your show, did all sorts of things. I don't just mean to single out Zuckerberg. It was all of them. And now, finally, we have a conservative running one of the big tech platforms, the smallest one, but still a prominent one. Punches above its weight because a lot of journos and people with a big reach are on that platform, formerly known as Twitter, now known as X. So now, implausibly, totally unexpectedly, you've got the chief group responsible for rigging the election, as far as I'm concerned, big tech, has now been infiltrated by someone who is more amenable to conservative views and desires, and who is questioning the election, who is violating their chief prohibition in the days after the 2020 election. That's pretty good stuff. We need to make our elections bulletproof. And we need to make you bulletproof too, which is why you got to check out Bulletproof Everyone. Right now, go to bulletproofeveryone.com, promo code Knowles, K-N-W-L-E-S. Bulletproof Everyone is a premier American body armor manufacturer and supplier designed and built for everyday wear. Their unique armor systems offer 25% more coverage than standard armor while maintaining flexibility and all-day wearability. Bulletproof Everyone's ultralight armor system is so light and thin, you might forget you're wearing it. Your safety and discretion are their top concern. Unless someone puts their hands on you, no one will have any clue that you're protected. With Bulletproof Everyone, you are not a walking billboard. There are no visible logos and no flashy designs. They are a comfortable, tailor-made clothing system that goes above and beyond, adding additional security by keeping you incognito and under the radar. Work or play, Bulletproof Everyone has got the perfect armor system to fit your everyday lifestyle and everyday budget. Right now, our listeners can get 10% off plus a free Bulletproof backpack with the purchase of any Bulletproof clothing. Just use code Knowles at checkout at bulletproofeveryone.com. That's bulletproofeveryone.com, promo code Knowles. Right now, go to Genucell.com/Knowles. If you can believe it, Thanksgiving is just 2 weeks away. Just in time for the holidays, Genucell is offering their best sale of the year. Right now, you can get 70% off Genucell's most popular package, which now includes Genucell 3, their newest under-eye treatment. Genucell 3 will have you looking years younger. It uses advanced technology to deliver complex vitamins and minerals directly to your face for instant hydration. Say goodbye to fine lines, crow's feet, under-eye bags, and dark spots. Genucell will have you looking and feeling your absolute best, guaranteed, or your money back. No questions asked. Our talent manager, Tessa, absolutely loves using the Genucell under-eye cream. You deserve to look and feel your best this holiday season. I also just love the founder of this company, a Coptic Christian from Egypt who left Egypt for the American dream. Go to Genucell.com/Knowles, Knowles, to get this incredible holiday discount for 70% off their most popular package, which includes the Genucell 3 and Dark Spot Corrector. Get results in 12 hours or less. Immediate effects are free. Genucell.com/Knowles, 70% off plus free priority shipping. Genucell.com/Knowles. Speaking of voter fraud, there's a lot of evidence of it. There's a lot of evidence of voter fraud, guys. And consequential voter fraud. There's a judge in Connecticut, Superior Court Judge William Clark, who has just ordered the results of a recent mayoral primary election in Bridgeport, Connecticut, state's largest city, to be overturned and for a new election to be held. So not just, well, we found some issues, but no. This election is null and void. We are going to hold a new election. That's how bad the rigging was. Sometimes you hear with the 2020 presidential election that, well, Trump's lawyers tried to make their case in court and they failed. That mostly isn't true. Mostly what happened is the Trump lawyers tried to make their case in court and the courts didn't want to hear it because the courts don't want to get involved because they don't want to be blamed for picking one person or the other. So they mostly said, nah, no thanks, we're not interested, see you later, which is what courts often do. That's what the Supreme Court did in the 1948 Senate election in Texas, in which LBJ, a future president, stole the seat, almost certainly stole the seat. And the Supreme Court said, no, we don't want anything to do with it. So we're talking about a mayoral election here in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where the stakes are relatively low. Consider the stakes for presidential election. No one's going to want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But here in this mayoral election, the judge came down and said that Bridgeport's incumbent mayor, Joe Ganim, won the election as a result of significant fraud. And what kind of fraud? You guessed it, fraud involving absentee ballots. The volume of evidence in this case, he writes, including many hundreds of hours of video surveillance disclosed and accepted into evidence, is perhaps unprecedented in the state of Connecticut in an election case. And you've got video after video after video, as some are seeing in the 2020 presidential election. This probably only happened in Bridgeport, Connecticut, right? This was probably inconsequential, right? It could, look, there's always fraud. This is what you hear from the people who excuse what very possibly occurred in 2020. Well, look, there's always fraud, but, it doesn't necessarily swing an election. Yeah, but sometimes it does. And to swing a presidential election, you don't need to swing 300 million votes. You just need to swing a handful of counties, which will swing a handful of districts, which will swing the whole election. And then you look and you see you've got certain bellwether counties that generally determine which way the election goes. And you say, hold on, in the 2020 election, 17 or 18 bellwether counties out of 19 went for Donald Trump. Only 1 or 2 went for Joe Biden. Does that make a lot of, I don't know. But because the fact, or the potential fact, because the hypothesis is so difficult to bear that an election really could have been rigged to the point of getting the wrong answer, a lot of people will just keep their heads down and say, no, it probably was okay. Well, now you're just sauntering into a political buzzsaw. Because, you're not going to undo the 2020 election. There's not going to be a point where U.S. Marshals lead Joe Biden out of the Oval Office and they lead Donald Trump in and they say, sorry, sir. Yes, we now know for certain it was a stolen election. And anyway, you can undo all the Biden stuff. And hey, there's not going to be a war in the Middle East anymore. And Russia's not going to invade Ukraine anymore. And we're going to undo everything. That's not, of course. And the economy is going to be good again. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But if you don't acknowledge the very plausible scenario in which the 2020 election was rigged in a consequential way, then you're not going to do a lot to fix it before 2024. You're going to end up in the same spot. Boy, what a great clip that was. Now, hey, hold up. Ring that bell, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.